I more centered now? Heyo! Yeah, I'm showing my face for this one. This isn't a face reveal because I've shown my face before. Like, too many people have seen my face. I hope you guys know how incredibly self-absorbed I am. I hope you're uncomfortable seeing a real woman instead of a romanticized anime version of that real woman. I don't know if this will be a regular thing I'll do in the future, but I think my rats know not to expect anything from me. So I wanted to talk about this topic for like a long time, and I decided to wait just enough till people didn't care about it anymore. If you haven't already guessed, I'm Asian, Chinese to be more specific. I'm coming to terms with that slowly, but some other people aren't coming to terms with their own race. I know I'm probably not the type of Asian that you would willingly embarrass yourself on the internet for, but do you want to switch places? Trade offer. You get to be Asian, and I get to have ocean blue eyes so I can relate to YN more while reading Wattpad. So yeah, if you have common sense, you're probably weirded out or confused or both by this video. There has been a growing community on TikTok and Discord called RCTA, which, if you don't know what that means, it's an abbreviation for race change to another, or more previously known as race change to Asian, or even more previously known as weeaboos. There has been a big argument around the topic whether or not it's racist. To the people saying it's racist, it's not. So educate yourself. Yeah, educate yourself, people. Not me. Don't worry, Pookie. I'm already educated. I just passed on the message to somebody else. It's our choice if we want to change our race, mostly because we do not feel connected to our current culture and feel more comfortable changing into our desired culture. Everyone has their own reasons to change their race, ethnicity, so respect their decision. If you're mad, then that's your problem. All RCTA's aunties, please do not interact. I can't tell when these videos are satire or not, because the real ones are just as absurd. I'm pretty sure the people who are RCTA are children, or at the very least teenagers, people who have very little understanding about the differences between race, ethnicity, and nationality. I personally believe that race is a social construct. Race doesn't make complete sense to me. People who are the same race can have completely different backgrounds, and the only similarity they have is just what skin tone they have, and I think that's pretty stupid. When I say like Asian person, I guarantee you only think of a Chinese, Korean, or Japanese person. You don't think of Russia, you don't think of West Asia, you don't think of South Asians. Come on. Don't lie in the comments. Well, ethnicity is all about like history, culture, environment. Like, there's so many factors in there that can't really be changed. I know how awful, repetitive, and annoying it can be when people make fun of the race that you are. I remember when I was young, I wanted to be white so badly. My adoptive parents were white, my friends were white, my school was white, and all I wanted to do was to fit in, obviously. And I bet many of you people of color that grew up in America can agree. I can wholeheartedly understand why someone would think this way. I get it. Seeing another person's race be romanticized and worshipped can make you see the green-eyed monster. Especially when all these RCTA videos either go along with K-pop singers or dancers or anime, which are both very heavily romanticized pieces of media in Korea and Japan. You can't change yourself by saying that you're a different race. Like, that's not gonna fix anything. Because one, it doesn't work like that, and two, it's not gonna make you happier, and three, it's not gonna make people stop making fun of you. I feel like people would take you more seriously if you took the culture you're trying to embrace more seriously. Unfortunately, it's not just Asia though. Introduction. Hi, I'm Jada. I'm RCTA, white to Jamaican. Aunties, do not interact. I was bullied for being white and called no culture snow roach. I fell in love with Jamaican culture and feel connected with it spiritually and mentally. Interact if you're an RTCA supporter, LGBT, RCTA, Black, looking for RTCA mutuals. Once again, I have no idea if this is bait or not. If it is, it's working. I really hope this woman is just curb ranking all of us and she's actually Jamaican. It would be so funny if the girl in this video wasn't even Jamaican. Like, she's just like from Kansas or something. And her dancing video was just taken because the girl thought that she was just like pretty. But to be fair, I do get the name calling bit, because like after being called like the same derogatory term so many times, you just break. You just, even if it seems silly to us, like it's annoying, and I get that. But it's just something that you have to get over, girl. I'm sorry. Like, people are gonna call you more names if you convert from being white to Jamaican. Like, that's just silly. Also, at the bottom where it says interact if you're LGBT, what does that have to do with any of this? They're gonna make fun of you too, but just while being gay. They showed food twice, but you don't need to be black to enjoy cultural food. My partner's family is actually from Trinidad, and I actually enjoy a lot of the food that his family makes. I could only like imagine if they were like, no, you're not Trini, so you can actually only enjoy the Coca-Cola we have on that table over there. Maybe in the next life though, who knows? Like, no sane person gatekeeps delicious food. As long as like you make it correctly, then like, of course, there's no harm in enjoying other people's food. It also shows this crowd of people, and I want to imagine that like their face, like when they do like the face claim, they just start morphing into like all of their faces combined and like turn into an uncanny version of what they want it to be. How like AI generators like combine like all these different faces and then turn into a monster. Telling my parents I'm RCTA, American to Mexican. They accepted me. They don't accept me, but nothing bad happens. They don't accept me and make me go to therapy. Like, what if they just sent her to like conversion therapy, but like the therapist like doesn't know what to do? I only handle gays, not Mexicans. Sorry. My two favorite genders, gay and Mexican. They don't accept me and kick me out of the house. If I were a parent, kicking your kid out of the house for something as stupid as this is like really cruel. If putting them on the street is not gonna make them realize that they shouldn't change races, like that's something that they should already know, but if they don't know that, then you should have a talk with them. If you just kick them out, I feel like it's just gonna make them like start self-pitying instead. I also feel like these sets of photos are weird to face claim when she's covered in makeup and her hair is like clearly straightened. If you don't know what a face claim is, it's like those subliminal messages where you just gaslight yourself saying like, I will look like this. I am going to look like this. Actually, it's precisely that, but instead of using like a model or a celebrity, it's just a random person's picture that you stole off the internet, and I sincerely doubt that you asked permission to steal their face. Like, obviously she's gorgeous, and I'm sure if even without the makeup, she will still be gorgeous, because like this type of makeup style is also very popular as well. Like, you can, if you want to do the makeup like that, you can do it. Like, you don't need to change your race for that. Hi, I'm a new RCTA with a Chinese takeout box and onigiri emojis. Starting to lose my empathy a little bit. Dead name, Emily. Oh, excuse me, it's actually redacted. Don't tell people your dead name, you dumb people are gonna use it then. New name, Yuki, with a rice bowl emoji. Remember, these are people that don't consider themselves racist. I actually knew this girl named Yuki when I was in elementary school, and she was actually bullied a lot because she had a heavy Japanese accent, and she used to be called Pukey by all the boys in class. And I would bully the boys back by scratching them so hard that they bled. But I don't think I would do that for this girl. I'm American to Japanese Korean. Why? I feel connected to the culture and not because of K-pop or anime or anything, so don't hate. Yeah, sure. I love Korean and Japanese culture because it's so kawaii and cute, and it's so beautiful. I want to visit Korea and Japan so bad. You haven't even been to the countries you're trying to convert to? Oh my god. Do not call me redacted. It is offensive and it hurts us RCTAs. This is a really lazy slur that people came up with, and it also directly hurts trans people who never asked to be a part of this. The slur doesn't even make any sense because with trans, at least the word tran is in the word of the transphobic slur. Like, that's not a valid slur. You're not allowed to be offended by that because you directly stole that from trans people and it hurts them more than you. RCTA is valid. How? Because it's the same as trans. So it's not racist or anything. Oh dear. Ethnicity and race are completely linked to your background and DNA. Your dad is white, your mom is white, you're obviously gonna end up white. If my dad is a woman and my mom is a woman, I'm gonna come out as a woman. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, trans and gender identity isn't genetic. It's not. Like, gender identity is based on internal feelings as well as like psychological, neurological, and biological factors. We need to understand that transgender and changing your race are entirely two different things. Respect transgender individuals and don't involve them in conversations like this when they never asked to be here. This actually is a very common argument that RCTA people bring up. It's just like being trans. But it's not. Changing your race can actually be very harmful and perpetuates a lot of the stereotypes that is pushed on to that specific ethnicity or race. It ignores like the real life struggles that people within that community go through. By the way, I know like when some people transition to one binary gender to another binary gender, they can have internalized sexism about either the gender that they were assigned at birth or the gender they identify with. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about race. It also pushes that idea that one ethnicity is better than the other, which is just plain racist. Every race goes through their own struggles, yes, including white people. People do have their own struggles and they deserve empathy as well. White people have plenty of culture to be proud of. Like my dad, who is Scottish, he loves his culture and celebrates it anytime a piece of media represents his culture accurately. Even if you primarily identify with just being American. The way other countries portray Americans is really funny and it's like something that we can all laugh at together. But America does have culture. That is a hill that I'm willing to die on. People who say otherwise are objectively wrong. Have you seen our portion sizes compared to other countries? Because I become the most patriotic motherfucker when it comes to food portions in America. Don't care. I will become a cowboy bootlicker if I get to keep my large fry at McDonald's. Alright, this is the last one, I swear. Why RCTA is valid. 1, it isn't hurting anyone. Wrong. This actually directly hurts the people who have been mistreated by people either in their own culture or by people who are outside of it and just straight up don't understand it. 2, it's like transitioning genders. We already covered that one, so you're wrong. Number 3, culture doesn't exist. Everyone can grow up with a culture no matter race. Wrong, you just contradicted yourself. If that were the case and you truly believe that, then you wouldn't identify yourself as any race. If culture doesn't exist, which it does by the way, let's make that clear, you wouldn't be converting from one culture to another. Like, that doesn't make any sense. I mean, none of this makes sense, but I'm trying my best to understand here. Number 4, just because some RCTA individuals identify as Asian doesn't mean we all do. For example, I'm Black, Korean, Japanese, Mexican, formerly white. This doesn't explain a reason why RCTA is valid though. Also, this kind of feels like when you're a kid and you're like playing fairies with your friend and you say like, oh, like I'm a water fairy, like I like going into the pool and rivers and I like rivers. And then your friend is like, yeah, well, I'm actually a fire, earth, water, cloud fairy that is a queen and you have to respect that. And you can't change yours, by the way. You can't change it. Should have been more creative the first time. I also appreciate that they didn't put a flag for black because they don't know where black people originate from. Number 5, this is why black edits are valid, because we aren't changing who they are on the inside. This one is a bit more individually divided, especially within the art community, and so I'll try my best to tiptoe around it. I actually believe they're not valid. If a character has like no ties to a racial background or anything like that, or like if they're making like a live action movie and the actor they hire just happens to be a different race, like I don't think that's that big of a deal, because it's an actor, it's a real person. Sometimes just movie castings just pick whoever is the best actor, not because of what they look like, which I think is cool. I like that. But in terms of artwork, why not just make a new character? Non-human characters don't count because they're non-human. But like anime characters who like are already human are always getting edited. Like always. I get it if you're like trying to like modify the character so like it looks like a little bit more like you, so like you want to use it as like your profile picture or something, like that's fine. Like I completely get that. But it's like that girl who kept blackwashing Deku and kept drawing like the other My Hero Academia characters with different ethnicities and different defining traits. I guess I understand like what she was trying to go for, like having a diverse cast is nice, but also make your own characters. It's not that hard. You can even create like new like My Hero Academia OCs if you wanted. Plenty of people do that. It's not even like reverse whitewashing because those characters are Asian, so you just blatantly erase their Asianness. You just completely erase these Asian identities to conform to like the racist version of the Bechdel test. I honestly don't know what the end goal of that girl was, but whatever. Alright, that was a lot. But in conclusion, I think what we should all take away from this is to just love yourself, man, and to respect other people's cultures. We could use more of that last bit. As I said before, these people who identify with this sort of thing just seem like they're minors and just have really bad self-esteem issues and just want to change something that they can't really change in hopes that'll make people like them more, or like they'll just like themselves more. But it doesn't work like that. Like, trust me, it doesn't work like that. I said it before in the video, but I feel like these people would be treated more seriously if either they like lived in the culture that they want to convert to, they grew up in that culture, or if they just took the culture more seriously and understood the pros and cons that there are in every country. Like that white guy who has a very thick Chinese accent because he grew up in Singapore, and then Chinese people were like, he's not white, he's just a very blonde Chinese guy. Yeah, you don't see much of those, but he's Chinese, he's not white. But it's not like that in the slightest. They aren't even anywhere near it. They're just consuming like the most best parts about that culture, which you can't completely reflect onto just an entire culture. Japan isn't entirely anime. Korea isn't entirely K-pop. Actually, both anime and K-pop have their own terrible like secrets in the industry. Anime animators are heavily abused. K-pop stars are also heavily abused. It just feels like a slap in the face to every POC who grew up in America being predominantly surrounded by a white community. But I don't know, that's just me. Alright, thank you for dealing with my face in this video. Laters.